Welcome to Wheel Talk. I'm Recappa Sedai. Before we start, this episode has spoilers. If you haven't finished reading The Wheel of Time, this video will spoil you, and you probably shouldn't watch it. I'm not kidding. Get out!
Who loves long books and tiny warders? Who's so over the Amerlin's orders? Who loves making every novice cry? Recappa Sedai.
Oh, that's me! Today we will discuss the Seanchan and why I can't stand them. For the most part, my reasons for hating the Seanchan are the obvious ones. It should go without saying that the entire concept of Damane is awful. It is slavery. Reading about the Adom and what it's like to be collared is horrific. That is the core problem I have with the Seanchan. I think it's one we can pretty much all agree on, but there are other reasons the Seanchan upset me. First of all, I feel like every major group or society in the Wheel of Time evolves. The Aes Sedai, the Aiel, the White Cloaks, the Two Rivers folk, the Sea folk, all of them change over the course of the series. The Seanchan are the one exception. The Seanchan refuse to change because they're just too important. Their Empress is the divine descendant of Arthur Hawkwing, who will restore what they once had. The Seanchan use that to excuse their bad behavior and their entitlement. It's okay for us to seize this land. We work for Hawkwing's descendant. The Empress has declared this okay. It's fine for us to collar women and make them our property. They're helping us reclaim Hawkwing's empire. The Empress is down. No, we don't feel weird about attacking the White Tower right before the last battle. The Empress ordered it. Don't you know who we are? To make that even more infuriating, these books suggest early on the Seanchan will change. In The Great Hunt, when Rena and Sita were left behind wearing their Adom, I thought this is the beginning of the end for the Seanchan. The truth will come out and everything will crumble. But that didn't happen, and no Seanchan character made that their mission. And that disappointed me. I really thought either Egyanin or Tuon would step up. I know Egyanin wasn't in a position to do much about the Damane situation, but I still hoped that was the point of her breaking away from the Seanchan. The truth is, Egyanin broke away from the Seanchan because she was scared and had no good options. She didn't do it because she disapproved of her people. She was just saving her own ass. The only Seanchan character who wants to take the Seanchan down is Olivia. And even though she's a former Damane who should hate the Seanchan, I find Olivia refreshing. It is so nice to see someone who has lived among the Seanchan say, fuck them, let's take them down. I didn't allow myself to like Olivia on a first read because I was so scared she would turn out to be a Seanchan ally. On that first read, I was more nervous about Seanchan plans than Forsaken plans. The Seanchan made me more nervous. When it became clear Mat would end up with Tuon, I was thrilled. I was sure Mat would help Tuon see the truth, she would acknowledge what she already knew deep down, and she would free the Damane before the last battle. That didn't happen, and the fact that this wasn't resolved still keeps me up at night. Now, I did not want to make this video a flat-out rant, but the other night, during our weekly Patreon chapter reading, I talked about this for the first time, and it was a real moment, so I thought I'd share it with you all. And by the time we get to the end, when Egwene faces off with Tuon in that conversation, it's just like, there's no argument to be had here. As a Soldom, you know, she fucking knows. She knows. I'm sorry, she knows, and she's a coward. And Mat breaks them up like they're two cats fighting, and he says, oh, break it up, ladies. And I'm sorry, Mat, I'm fucking sorry. No, you let Egwene get the fuck in there. This was the reason Mat was there. So that when this confrontation happened and Egwene said, no, Tuon, you are making people slaves and you, as a Soldom, know the truth of this. And Tuon being the coward, I'm sorry, I can't believe I'm doing this. Tuon being the coward that she was saying, no, no, how dare you say that? I am the Empress. And Mat stepping in, and all he has to say is break it up, ladies. Go fuck yourself, Mat, and go fuck yourself, Tuon. What was the point of you two getting married if Mat wasn't gonna make her better? I'm sorry. I was so shook. How dare Mat marry her and then do nothing? How dare he? How dare he? I don't fucking care. It's the last battle. I don't care. Why else were you set up to marry this person? You're in charge of the Seanchan, and you have no interest in the Damane? You have no interest. You don't care. Okay. And we just won't talk about it because it's the last battle and we gotta get to work. I get that part of it. I get the part of it's the last battle and we have to deal with certain stuff later. But when we get to that scene between Egwene and Tuon and Mat just like break it up, I'm like, shut the fuck up, Mat. Who do you think you are? This is not your place. You married into this and now apparently you just don't care. So shut the hell up. It makes me so mad. I've never talked about this, but out of all the things in the Wheel of Time, the fact that that wasn't resolved and the fact that Mat and Tuon were at the center of it and had the power to resolve it and didn't, I can't like them. I can't like either of them. I include Mat. I can't like either of them. Fuck them. In a series where heroes rise, these two let me down. I'll never forgive them. I'll never forgive either of them. Ever. Fuck Tuon. And fuck Mat. Thanks for getting Moiraine back, Mat. Fuck you. I got impassioned during this rant, but I stand by it. I am being hard on Mat. There are other things to thank him for, mainly winning the last battle, but Mat is a character who supposedly always does the right thing. Then he marries Tuon and does nothing. I don't even think we have a Mat POV where he expresses concerns about the Adom situation. So thanks for all you did, Mat, but at the same time, thanks for nothing. I cannot forgive him. I never will. Mat was supposed to be the guy who stepped up when something was unjust. I appreciate all that Mat did, but he failed me. I finished the series thinking less of him than I used to. As for Tuon, she's a coward. She sees herself as the ultimate ruler, but she can't face the truth about the Adom. She cannot admit that she has been wrong and what her people do is horrible. When Egwene suggests testing the Adom on her, Tuon shows her true self. She knows if she didn't believe Egwene, she would put the Adom on and prove her wrong. But God forbid the Empress admit to the Empire's mistakes. Tuon is terrified of the truth, and she will do anything to continue as she has. She cares more about status than the world itself. I know there are Tuon fans out there, and I don't mean to offend, I just can't like her. This brings me to another point, which is the Seanchan are not written as villains. Individually and as a whole, there are many times when the Seanchan are depicted favorably. For example, when the Seanchan take over Abu Dar, RG tells us how their leadership has been fab and maybe even improved things. For me, that does absolutely nothing to make the Seanchan favorable or likable. My problem with the Seanchan is not how they rule after conquering lands. You could argue that the Seanchan are well written because they're messed up, but they do decent things sometimes. I'm mixed on that. On one hand, the fact that I can't stop thinking about the Seanchan after finishing the series implies good writing. On the other hand, the series sets up that the Seanchan might change their ways, and then it doesn't happen. I can't decide whether that's a powerful narrative choice or just plain fucked up, or both. It's not just what the Seanchan do, it's what they don't do and how they're written. I struggle to see the Seanchan as anything but villains. The Seanchan and the Shadow operate out of fear, but when it comes to Seanchan loyalty, there's an element of love. That's why they scare me so much. When Egwene and Tuon negotiate, Tuon wants the chance to explain to White Tower women why they should be demonic. Egwene scoffs at this, but it scares me. The Seanchan have studied and honed how to convince women they are property. I want to believe that what Tuon suggests is preposterous. There's no way Aes Sedai accepted or novices would sign up to be demonic. But the Seanchan are good at what they do, and I believe Tuon believes she can do what she says. Hopefully, Tuon is wrong. But the Seanchan have a system to break people down. When Tuon makes this bargain that Egwene thinks is silly, it makes me really uneasy. I want to believe no one would buy her Seanchan bullshit, but I can't be sure. The Seanchan know exactly what they're doing, and it scares the hell out of me. Even when the last battle ends, this is still so unsettled, I will never be able to let it go. That's it for this video. Thank you for watching. A huge thank you to all of our Patreon members. We will do shoutouts in our next episode, but this episode is brought to you by Patreon members. If you would like to support Wheel Talk and help it continue, the best way is to sponsor the show on Patreon. There's a link in the notes. All levels of contribution are fabulous. If you can like the video and subscribe, that would also be fabulous. It helps the channel. We could use it. And until next time, walk in the light and keep it wheel. I lost my brooch. It popped off. Just deal with it.